HSBC announcing a major shake-up earlier today. The bank planning to cut 35,000 jobs over the next 3 years. We're talking 15% of the global workforce. It's also set to shed $100 billion in assets and scale back operations in the US and Europe.
And the plan also includes closing 1 in 3 retail branches in the US, shrinking the investment bank.
Welcome back to the Joshua Fluke channel, where we talk about getting laid off. At least that's what my recent videos have been about, and you guys seem to like that. In this video, we're talking about HSBC. It's a huge bank all over the world, and they're letting go 35,000 people. Yeah, that number is correct. Actually, 35,000 people. Not 3,500, not 350, 35,000 people. And before I get too far into this, I saw a comment in my last video where this guy said, I agree with everything you say. The thing with being disagreeable and being negative is a thing of the image you expose for yourself to the public. And first of all, I've never exposed myself to the public. And he says, what do I mean is that you're not calm when you speak. You seem emotional. You speak in an aggressive manner, ready for a revolution. You speak in a manner that almost suggests hostility. Like, I don't understand. I'm not supposed to be happy about this. There's no way you can be happy about people getting let go, because it sucks. People lose their livelihood. You're messing with people's lives when you do this. Like, congratulations, you've all been promoted to customer. They have 235,000 employees globally, which is a nutty amount of employees for any company. I imagine you couldn't get anything done there, but they're letting go 15% of their entire workforce because their profits plunged 33%. And they're just like cutting it across 3 years, so they're not firing 35,000 people like from day one, because number one, that'd be really hard for the company to just lose that amount of information that all those people would be leaving with. So I did the math, and basically 32 people every single day are going to be fired for the next 3 years. That's 1.33 people per hour for the next 3 years. Someone's getting fired. Less than an hour, every like 45 minutes, someone's getting fired at HSBC for the next 3 years, which is crazy. But what's kind of funny is that they haven't caught up to it yet. Like, because if you go to their main website and you scroll down to the bottom, they say 235,000 employees, 144 languages. It's not. Well, they need to correct this number. And like, if you go to their careers page and you search for all jobs, they're hiring 1,755 jobs. And so if you don't know, what these companies do is, what Wayfair did actually is, if you go look at all the positions that were fired the other day, if you haven't seen Wayfair, it's a furniture company, they let 550 people go. They fired all those people, and then they rehire them for the same job for less. And that's what a lot of these kind of companies are doing now. They just fire you, and if you want it back, you gotta take a lower salary. And Blizzard does this, a bunch of other companies do this. You know, HSBC is supposed to be a huge corporate, 235,000 people. It's supposed to be a huge company, and huge companies usually mean security, usually means, you know, stability, usually means that you can just kind of show up to your job and disappear. At Wayfair, I heard that they got a severance package, but they weren't allowed to talk about it, basically. So sometimes they'll give you a severance package, but you're not allowed to say what you got, you're not allowed to say how much you got. Like, sometimes they'll give you 2 weeks, sometimes they'll give you 6 weeks, sometimes extend your benefits or something. But companies like to keep that on the DL because they don't want you to talk trash. But usually people think, well, if you want stability, go to a big company, and that's just not how it works at all. Like, there's no stability anywhere. There's just the illusion of stability. This is just your friendly reminder again to always have a backup plan, because even these huge companies with billions in assets and deep pockets. This happened to me at one of my developer jobs. Our project ran out, and we assumed that we were going to get paid to refactor the project and optimize it and make it better while our company got us a new one. And I was like, no, dude, this is stupid. They're not just going to pay for us to be here. He's like, don't worry about it. The company has deep pockets. Okay, it doesn't matter if the company has deep pockets. It's all about profit. That's just what it is. At the end of the day, it's all about making more money than they made the last year. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just trying to remind you that big companies, small companies, whatever companies, they don't have your best interest in mind. Always keep your best interest in mind. So this episode's kind of different. This is sort of like a news, or sort of like a podcast, where I just take a deeper dive into what CNN Business is going to show you, or whatever the news is going to show you. We're going to like dive in. We're going to do the math of what it looks like to you, the individual working there. And someone asked in the last video, what do I suggest? I suggest us always have a plan B. It's like wealthy people. When people say, well, how are you so rich? They'll say, you need to have multiple streams of income. So if one disappears, you're not totally screwed. So many people just depend on their job alone because that's the only thing their job allows them to have time for, is they just go to work and they come home and they're too tired to do anything else to try to make money. And then when that goes away, that's it. Like they lose their house. But I know it requires a lot of work to have something on the back burner that you could fall back on, that you could maybe scale, or just something to have. I know it requires a lot of work. You come home, you already did your job, and you're supposed to do another job, or at least try to develop something, and you just want to kick back and you want to watch the game. And I understand it's difficult for a lot of people. So this is what happens when these layoffs occur. If you've never experienced it and you're one of the lucky few to keep your job during a layoff, basically now you get to do 2 jobs for the price of 1. And you'd think to yourself, oh, well, I should get a raise, right? Because I'm doing double work. No, your raise was the fact that you got to keep your job, even though, you know, the CEO is still cutting a fat paycheck to himself. But, you know, don't even think about asking for a raise after that happens. You were just lucky to survive the cuts. And, you know, now you get increased responsibility and increased effect on the company's mission and our goals. Is it good for the company? Always ask yourself, is it good? I can't. I'm done. All right, so every time I make one of these videos, people are like, this is why we need unions. And here's the thing with unions. You're trying to bully the company into getting what you want. And you're banking on the fact that you going on strike is a big enough pain in the ass to make them give you what you want. And for the most part, you need their money to pay your bills, and you're hoping that they need you enough to continue doing the work and that they value you enough, or, you know, but what they end up doing is they just close up shop. They just close it down. They don't care about you, or they'll just hire some new people and train them up real quick and pay them half the price of what you were getting paid. And so it's going to be hard to bully a company into getting what you want. Like Walmart, for example, a bunch of people went on strike at Walmart, and Walmart just closed down. Yeah. They just closed down the whole Walmart, and they're not legally allowed to do that. So instead, what they report is that location of Walmart suddenly starts to form mysterious plumbing problems that makes them have to close down. It's called at-will employment. You can fire anyone at any time for anything.
Walmart's always gonna have a 15-year-old that wants to
make a couple bucks. Very political opinion about unions, and you know, we should stand together and strengthen numbers and stuff, but the fact is the company's just gonna fire all of you and hire the same you for cheaper. Some other kid who's hungry or willing to work 100 hours, because that's the world we live in. And you have to hope that the knowledge that you know and your impact on the company is valuable enough for you to basically extort them into getting what you want. For example, like in construction, a union will work because everyone can just walk, and now you have a half-built building. Yeah. And that's a huge pain in the ass, because you'd have to hire everyone again and show everyone what they're building and get like new people for the blueprints to make sure that everything's being managed well, and you gotta take inventory of everything that was left there and like everything that you need. And so like in construction, a union will work because everyone just walks. But for software, they're just gonna be like, okay, well, there's some other kid here that we can train up to make this thing that we need or whatever. And the thing is, there's a lot of politics in unions themselves. A lot of unions are out just to benefit the people that run the union and not the actual people that are... It's a cool idea, I guess, to have strength in numbers, and, you know, but they're paying your bills, and you need... The fact is, you need their money. Like, you can only go on strike for so long because they're not going to pay you anymore. And eventually, the thing is, you're going to run out of money if you go on strike. And you have to hope that time limit where no one that is working is important enough or affects the company enough for them to be like, okay, just come back, get to work. You know, we'll give you what you want. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Anyways, that's my thoughts on unions. Maybe we can have a more open conversation about it. Like, I'm not for or against them. I just try to think, look at what happens and think about what you're trying to do to the company. If you're in the union, think about what the company's trying to do. It's just maybe someone else is like, but Josh, this would work. Maybe, I don't know. Don't think of me leaning for or against. I'm just kind of on the fence. That's this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to support the channel, if you like what we do here, some links down in the description. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.